I'm starting the stream now, so give it a few seconds to start the buffer. Do it.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 156, recorded on November 22nd, 2017. On tonight's show, Nintendo's dishing out the deals for Black Friday. Nyko is joining in, and Splatoon 2 has had a huge, by the time you listen to this, update, and so much more. Zach, who's not here, please cue the music.
Insert music. Yeah, in post. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, everyone. Welcome to the Nintendo Dads podcast. My name is Justin Masson, and today, as Marty did mention, is November 22nd, 2017, and you are tuned into the right and best, at least in my opinion, Nintendo podcast of all day. And with me today are two of the coolest co-hosts in all of the podcast land. First, Mr. Jesse Waldack. How are you today, sir?
Good. You know, I've had a rough throat for the last few days, so if I have to cough up a lung or something, I'll try to mute myself.
We appreciate that. You do sound a touch a horse. You do sound a touch a horse in the back of the voice, sir.
Nay.
And for a man who never sounds like a horse, Marty Estes. How are you, buddy?
By the time you hear this, I will be at least 50% gravy.
Jesus, pardon my language. That is fantastic. 50% gravy.
If you are listening to this on Thanksgiving, when this episode will release, here in the States at least, let me say thank you for you, listener. We're thankful for you. That's what I'm thankful for this year. That and gravy.
Yeah, that. I mean, those are really equal, right? Good listeners, amazing community, and gravy. I put those on the exact same wavelength. Yes, absolutely. To our U.S. listeners, happy Thanksgiving. May you bring your family around the table, rejoice in each other's family, camaraderie, and love. Have some turkey, some stuffing, some gravy. Perhaps watch some footballs, if you would. Listen to this podcast. Love each other. And then the next day, begin killing people for great, amazing Black Friday sales. But again, happy Thanksgiving from us to you. Well, gentlemen, we've had some lots of games we've been playing and some interesting things in the news. Should we jump into this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And, of course, our news is brought to us by... Who is it brought to us by there, Marty?
It is brought to us by Patreon.com. For just $1 a month, you can hop in and help change the world over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And we want to say, since this is Thanksgiving, we want to say a huge thanks to each and every one of our patrons, from big to small, well, that makes you sound like some of you are large. Let's change that from big donations to small donations.
Some of us are large.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. Some of us are large. Thank you so much for giving to the Nintendo Dads cause and helping us change the world. I do want to make a quick Patreon update here, if I could. Justin alerted me this week to the fact that we have not done a mystery merch monthly giveaway for October and November. And the reason for that is because I am in charge of those and I have failed. And there's been a critical failure in the in getting those taken care of. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to pull this week, this next week after Black Friday and all that craziness is over. We're going to pull two names. We're going to pull an October winner. We're going to pull a November winner. If you're a $15 or above per month patron, your name will go in the hat for those giveaways unless you've already won. I'm looking at you, John Blanco. You can't win again. Not right now. All right. So wipe the drool off your face. It's okay. But we're going to send along some really cool stuff to you. Hopefully you'll get it here by the end of the year. Make your end of year merry and bright, courtesy of the Nintendo Dads. Thanks again for all your support.
Awesome. Nice job. I cannot believe we are actually starting to discuss end of year already, right? Like we've got game of the year talk soon. And
yeah, we just have E3 recently?
Yeah, didn't we though? Didn't we? It just feels mad.
It feels like it, and maybe time to dig out and do those predictions. Do like a 6 month.
Oh, no.
Right. See how mad we were.
Be wrong.
Now, before we jump into the news, you know what? every single week we do this. At the end of the show, Mr. Zach Erickson talks about changing the world in one way. And how do they change that world, Jesse? How did they do that? Do you remember?
I think something about giving comments on iTunes.
I like how I'm not 100% sure whether you actually don't know or not, but you're kind of playing along. I'm imagining it's like, I don't know, at around that mark, I completely zone out with what he is saying.
You started to say that, and he was like, well,
yeah, you did catch me off guard, and two, yes, I am playing dumb.
Okay, don't throw to me. Don't throw to me.
I do that quite well. I do that to my kids all the time, and they hate it.
Well, this week we got in a list of some amazing of our iTunes reviews. I'm going to take a couple moments. I'm not going to read all of them, but I just want to read a couple of them that stand out to me. I'm just going to randomly pick these ones, of course. First one, I love the fact that this review, the header line was great podcast, bad pronunciation or pronunciation. I think I just pronounced pronunciation wrong. Says I love the show and listen to it every week. It's from a listener over in Sweden. I think we have a good idea of that one. Here's another one. It says my favorite podcast every week. I'll be hyped for a new episode. You guys make a great job. I've been back in playing Nintendo games since the last year, and I love how passionate you put in your reviews. I love your content and also follow you on YouTube. Greetings from Germany. Well, greetings, Germany. Greetings. And then final one, again, completely random here. Says, good people that are fun to listen to. I really like this podcast. The guys are very down to earth and fun to listen to. Sometimes they show their displeasure over people that are very critical of Nintendo, but they are willing to be critical themselves some too.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up later.
Yeah, there's a good mixture of different opinions for each week, which makes this the perfect, which makes for some good discussion. And of course, it says, needs more Justin. Well, our good friend here looks like Indian Ryan from USA. You're welcome today, just for you. This is what we do. We bring some more Justin in for you. All right, guys. So that is some reviews. Thanks very much for everyone who submits those reviews. We greatly appreciate it. And again, you are changing the world and Nintendo dads every single day. But I digress. Let's quit telling us about how awesome we are, and let's just do the damn show, shall we? So into the news we go. Do we have a bumper for that? I'm sure we do.
I thought we already had room. Played the news bumper earlier.
I just like pressing. Listen. One of these days, you guys need to be ready for your bumpers when I call it. All right. Same issue I had with Zach. All right. So
it's harder though when we're doing all this in post.
Don't make up excuses for me. All right. Do not make excuses, Jesse Waldeck. Marty, we got some big news items. What are you hitting us with first?
Well, let's just go over to this one first. This week, starting now and all the way through the Game Awards, Nintendo has put several titles on the eShop on some discounts. And I say some, I can't say deep discount, unfortunately, but there are some, there's some titles that are discounted. And here I'm just going to say this on the front end. And I mentioned this online to someone earlier. If you take what we're about to talk about and you compare it to what Sony has done with PlayStation 4 and Microsoft has done with the Xbox One store for the Black Friday sale, it's pretty pathetic. I'm not going to pull any punches there. It's pretty dang pathetic. Just take for instance, this is funny that people are surprised about this. There's actually Nintendo Switch games on this list.
Yeah, I was actually quite shocked when I saw that.
And it's funny that they're shocked because we know that Nintendo, they don't hardly ever put games on discount that quick. But there's a huge handful of 3DS games, a smattering of Wii U games, and a tiny pinch of Nintendo Switch games. So before we talk about, kind of our feelings on this, let's run down a few of these and see just some notables. All right. Number one, the biggest discount on the Switch side of things is I Am Setsuna by Square Enix at a 40% discount. And that is the largest Nintendo Switch discount that there is. The others range anywhere from 30 to 16% for Disgaea 5 Complete, which is a very strange number.
Puyo Puyo Tetris is 15%. So
that's true. Well, thanks for pointing that out. I just saw it as soon as I said it, and Me no math good. It's like my pronunciations.
I said it before about a different article we were talking about before we started, but this isn't sorted in any order.
No. But notable exemptions from this list, of course, are Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, kind of what we would term older Switch games at this point. The full list is 1-2 Switch, Super Bomberman R, I Am Setsuna, Puyo Puyo Tetris, both Lego games, Lego City Undercover, and Ninjago, and Disgaea 5. Now, just as a point to kind of say this now, because I don't want it to slip by or forget it later on. This is kind of where I'm a little frustrated, because if you look at Sony, who has had an awesome year, there's no doubt about it. Nintendo's had an awesome year. Almost every video game company has had an awesome year. They have Horizon Zero Dawn on discount for $19.99 tomorrow.
Wow.
Where's Breath of the Wild? I get it. Nintendo doesn't play by everybody else's rules, but I'm looking at, didn't Horizon Zero Dawn released like the same month, right?
Yeah, but I think
2 days after, I think.
Yeah,
but
I think
2 days before. It was basically same week.
Right.
The challenge a little bit with that, Marty, though, is that they're literally the exact same day issuing out a Explorer edition of Breath of the Wild.
That's true.
Right, so it's really hard to be like, hey, you should buy the Explorer edition, and FYI, it's a wicked sale.
The Explorer edition comes with a 100-page guidebook and a cloth map or cloth-like map,
Sure.
and the physical copy of the game for $45. Which one would you rather have? I think I'd probably rather have the $20 edition if I'm in the midst of Christmas shopping for my kids.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it. There's some better discounts on this, but like for the Switch, a system that you are really trying to, and not that they really have to do this, they're trying to drive it into consumers' hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like there should be a bigger discount than 40% off I Am Setsuna. I feel like there should be something there. Like Breath of the Wild at 50% discount. Digital, make it digital only, so you're not having to you can't say, well, I didn't get a guidebook, or I didn't get a map or whatever, make it 50% off and I guarantee you will pull some more sales.
Yeah.
Well, another problem with Breath of the Wild, though, is because it's probably down to maybe 65 at the lowest attach rate in percent.
Right.
So we're expecting to be a lot of Switches sold for the holidays, and by the time those are the people who would want to buy it, but by the time they receive it, the sale will be over.
The thing is that Nintendo, what they're wanting you to do is they're wanting you to go out on Black Friday, buy a Switch, and buy the $45 edition of Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Because by now the hype machine has churned. It's known as a game you need to play, whatever. But I would love to see some bigger discounts here, and there are for 3DS.
I thought that the new version of Breath of the Wild was still $60. It just now comes with a bunch of packets. Is it less?
It is $45 at Walmart on Black Friday. Now, I don't know what the current, like the actual retail price is. I'm going to go look that up right now. That I can, but I think you're right. I think it was $59.99, suggested retail price.
Yeah, now a couple other notables on here, and as Marty mentioned, so there is obviously our Switch games. There's a couple 3DS and some Wii U games. I'm just going to quickly draw attention to. So The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons on the Nintendo 3DS are 50% off each. So if you're looking to round out some of your Legend of Zelda collection, that's a great one.
That is a good deal for those.
Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is 60% off. Dr. Mario Miracle Cure is 50% off. Going through some more here. Trying to think of some games would be great for kids.
Going back to the Oracle games, they're normally $6, so half off is down to $3.
But you basically get the price of one for two, or two for the price of one.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Let me
50%.
slide in right here. I'm sorry. Let me slide in here with the correction. I said $45. Walmart is selling it for $49.
Okay.
And so maybe they are taking a little bit off. I'm doing some research right now on Black Friday stuff, just to see if it's at like Target or if this is a Walmart exclusive.
Yeah, but I guess one of the things I would say here is that if you are maybe a parent who has gone out and has purchased your kids a 3DS or a Wii U for the holiday season, maybe you're being preemptive, you've already opened it up, you've already maybe powered it up, and you're thinking about downloading some games on the device for them, having some parental control. There are some great games on there as well. Like I said, Lego Force Awakens 50% off. What else we got here? Some great indie games. So SteamWorld Dig is 50% off. Gunman Clive is 50%. Marvel's Lego Marvel Avengers 50% off, and then we move into Mutant Mudds 50% off, and actually some great ones for the Wii U. I'm going to just call these out. Axiom Verge on the Wii U is 50% off. If you still own a Wii U and have not picked up Axiom Verge, you need to do that. We're going to talk about more about that in a couple of moments. Hive Jump, Guacamelee 50% off. SteamWorld Dig 50% off. Runbow 50% off.
Bit Trip Runner presents
Bit Trip Runner, yeah.
The Runner 2, that's 75% off.
So, exactly.
So it's like less than $4.
Yeah, Mutant Mudds Super Challenge 50%. Here's what I'm going to say. This list is not as big as we would love it to be, but there are some great games when you look into it that if you have not kind of padded out your collection, so to say, these are some great sales on digital games as well. So, yeah. I don't know. Anything else you want to think? Anything else that stands out for that one, Marty?
Well, I just think, like, I know that I'm being kind of harsh on them because of I'm not seeing what I want to see, but I'm hoping this opens the doorway as Nintendo does get dip their toe in the water a little bit more over time into digital sales and different things like that as they boldly step out into the world that everybody else has been living in for the last 10 years. I hope that this goes well and they offer some more of this. Like I'm thinking like every year around the time that Gen Con happens for board gamers, Amazon does a huge sale day for board games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to see Nintendo do something like this at E3.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Especially like, hey man, we just announced the new Metroid Prime 4 and showed off the first footage. So we're going to put up a 40% discount on Samus Returns or something like tie it all together, keep the hype going. Cause that's really what sales are about, right? I mean,
it's the hype train.
It's about two things. It's about the hype train and it's about moving digital units of games that aren't selling right now.
Yep.
And once you switch, I'm looking at you.
Yes. No kidding. Right. So
that should have been on like a 50% discount. If we're going to talk about games, it should have been on 50% discount. Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Now to bundle that in with obviously some great deals from Nintendo in games. Our friends over at Nyko are also having a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. And I know, Marty, you've received some of the great accessories from Nyko. So this is a great deal. So we got a press release from this morning that effective on Friday at 12:01 a.m., running all the way to Monday 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can save 20% off of all the products at Nyko.com. And if you use the promo code Nyko and then NYKO and then BF2017, you will get free shipping on all orders over $45 by entering that promo code. So, Marty, you've got a couple of the Nyko accessories. They've been kind enough to send us some stuff. Anything here that pops out to you of like, hey, you should be looking at picking up?
Yeah, like I highly, highly recommend the charge blocks, both for the Joy-Con and the Pro Controller, mainly because they're the only design that's out there that I've seen that holds all four Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller, and they snap together, so there's only one power cord for that, which is a huge deal because the back of my TV looks like, the jungle. Like I need to use a machete and hack through it to be able to, because I'm not fooling with all that cord organization and stuff. They can forget that. But also the portable the portable battery pack.
Yep, the power pack. Yep.
Yeah, it's great for being able to charge up. I think it'll get your Switch to about 50 or 60% from almost dead.
That's great.
So yeah.
So I'm quickly on their site right now. That power pack is $39.99. The Charge Block Pro for the Switch is $19.99, and the Charge Block for the the Joy-Cons is $19.99. So I mean, you've got about $80 worth of accessories there, 20% discount off. I'm not super great at math.
$16 discount.
$16. Wow, that was really quite quick there. $16 discount, $64 right there, and free shipping. So if you were thinking about bundling out some accessories, this may be the time to go.
And that is honestly that's an insane price for the three of those. It's almost, let's see, you're almost getting one of them half price or free by that point. Yeah. And the free shipping. I mean, you're not going to get that, unless you're an Amazon Prime customer, but they're not going to do your 20% off right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's awesome. If you're
just a point of reference here for folks who are going to be listening and planning plans of attack to buy things. That Explorer edition of Breath of the Wild is not a Walmart exclusive, but it's just not being advertised at all the stores because it is $59.99. Walmart's just taking a $10 hit on it.
There you go. Awesome. All right. So that's very cool. Now, speaking of really cool things and I think just being really awesome, I guess would be the segue to that. Marty, what is going on here with Axiom Verge and the publisher?
Oh, yeah. This is really cool. So Axiom Verge, the Multiverse Edition, launched this week along with the rest of the physical copy versions. Axiom Verge so far has just been digital download only. So physical copies launched this week, and the publisher, upon launch, announced that for a short period of time here, I think the end of the year, they will be donating 75% of all physical copy profits to medical care for Thomas Happ's son. Wow. And just kind of, if you reel this story back just a little bit, Thomas Happ was the one-man design team on Axiom Verge, which, God, it's just incredible to think about, right? Mm-hmm. And he did this with his son having basically a disease that was brought on by the hospital not catching jaundice when he was born. And it's basically rendered him, unable to communicate and several different things. And I may be getting that wrong, but Thomas wrote a fantastic blog about it, right after the release of Axiom Verge, and I highly recommend you go read it. But I would also highly recommend you buy this game, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you like platforming, action-oriented Metroid-style games, I'm not going to say Metroidvania. I can't do it. Metroid-style games, then this is a fantastic game. You will love it. It is so well done, from the music to the graphical presentation to the storyline. It is just one of those games that it's rare. It's a rare gem. The games like this don't come along. You can feel the love of the developer as you play this game, because everything is just it's perfect. And so I'm looking right now, the Multiverse Edition, which comes with the game. It comes with a reversible cover. By the way, do you know what's on that reversible cover? Have you seen this?
I don't know.
They did the very beginning of Super Mario Brothers 1-1 in Axiom Verge art.
That's right.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it also comes with a documentary of the making of the game, as well as a soundtrack CD and a big map of all of the stuff or in the game. Wow. It's just, guys, like, if you've been waiting, if you've kind of been on the fence about this game, this is the version you want to get. It's only $10 more than retail. So the regular retail copy. So $29.99 here in the States for the regular retail copy, $39.99 for the Multiverse Edition. It's available right now on Amazon. And if you're totaling up 75%, let's see, he's going to get about $25. roundabout from every sale.
Well, a little bit less because not the entire thing isn't profit, but
That's true. That's true. But if
still,
you thought about it
a
just
good
in
chunk
pure
of it.
terms like that,
Yeah. Either way, good things are happening,
yeah,
right?
and like
and support those things.
Thomas just seems like a really nice guy and has just had a hard road to hoe. And this is a way that we as a gaming community can say thank you for an incredible game and help him out in the long run as he takes care of his son.
Yeah. I have all kinds of feels right now for that. So yeah,
absolutely.
Well done. Okay. Well, I don't know how to transition easily off of that into, I guess here's my transition. I like playing games. Axiom Verge is fun. You know what other game is super fun?
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2. Yeah, so Marty, we got news this week of a huge, massive Splatoon 2 update. Do you have it handy or do you want me? I've got the press.
Yeah, I've got it handy right here.
Okay, so let's
holy
break this
crap. This is probably the biggest update to Splatoon 2. I would say it's probably the biggest update to a Splatoon game since release. We did not see this much come to Splatoon for the Wii U. There's a lot in this that's gonna change the game in a lot of ways, and so this is a series of 2 software updates that are going to come with quite a bit of new content for the game. The first one comes out tomorrow, and there will be new battle stages. And by tomorrow, I'm meaning November 23rd. On November 24th, new battle stages start rolling out. And then mid-December, there will be a new ranked battle mode called Clam Blitz, which kind of looks like a sports game. And we'll kind of get into that here in just a minute. But as far as what's coming out as you're hearing, or will be out as you're hearing this podcast, 4 new battle stages. The first battle stage is called Mako Mart, which will be available to play on Black Friday. Has you splatting in a department store.
Is that not to be confused with Mallow Mart?
No, do not confuse that with Mallow Mart, please. Let's keep our properties separate here. Mako Mart, it looks like a giant Walmart. It looks like you're going to be fighting in Walmart.
I feel like I want to play the Mallow Mart music right now.
It's fantastic. The second map is the Schellendorf Institute, followed by Walleye Warehouse and Arowana Mall, which is a favorite from Splatoon 1 making a comeback here. And so Schellendorf Institute's new to the series, while Walleye Warehouse and Arowana Mall, again, they're returning. There will also be a new Salmon Run stage coming out as well called Salmon and Smoke Yard, which will be as frustrating as all of the other Salmon Run stages. There is approximately 140 new pieces of gear being added to Splatoon, including shoes, headgear, clothes, motocross mask, and winter clothing. New battle music. New battle music is coming from 2 new bands, Bottom Feeders and Ink Theory. So they're adding. I'm surprised I didn't call it 9 Inch Ink or 9 Ink Nails. But anyway, new hairstyles are coming to the game. 4 new hairstyles, which part of the fun about Splatoon, let's just be honest, is the customization, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do a huge number of things with your Inkling, and so this is just going to add to that. Also, too, big news for players who are maxed out right now on level. The level cap is getting raised to 99.
That is mad.
And if players talk to Judd, I don't think this was mentioned in the video, but maybe I'm wrong. If players talk to Judd when they reach level 99, they will have the option to reset their level display to level star 1 so they can continue raising their levels. In other words, it's a prestige system like Call of Duty.
You know who would be a star 1 in this game instantly?
Who's that?
Eric Plunk.
Oh, well, it's happening. I mean,
that man is a Splatoon.
He's a fiend. That's weird that we thought the same word right there.
Because we hang out too much online.
Because I was going to say maniac, and then my mind just went to theme. Also coming that we're not done yet. New amiibo functionality. There you go. Let's see. Tapping a compatible amiibo will let players take and share in-game photos in present locations in battle state or in preset locations in battle stages. in addition to Inkopolis Square.
Now, I don't know if you saw the trailer for this at all, but that was like totally, hey, we did this in Odyssey, and people seem to really, really like it.
I was
so
just
now
about
we're
to
going
mention,
to lift it and put it in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I was
like,
just about to mention the filters.
Mhm.
So people have gone nuts with the filters in Odyssey, like making meme. Like the biggest thing right now, and I'm going to call this out because I think it's fantastic, is people remaking movie posters with Mario.
oh, I haven't seen those.
Like, you know, the Spider-Man Homecoming photo.
Oh, yeah,
He's like
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
on top of a building and he's like kicked back. He's got headphones on or something. And New
Yes.
York's in the background. Somebody has done that with Mario in New Donk City.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And he's like laying on a building and the birds perched on his nose and New Donk City's in the background. And it has like the same font. They
That's
they
great.
pulled it out as like Super Mario, and then Odyssey looks like Homecoming. The other one I saw today was, and by the way, can I say spoilers? Are we at that point now? We're a month out from Odyssey. Can we say that?
I will say this: if you have not played, well, yeah, you know what, Marty? I'm going to say this.
It's just a costume.
Spoilers. You have a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead. Marty.
So somebody redid the poster for The Martian, where Matt Damon's like looking straight ahead with the spacesuit on, and it just says Mario, you know, and then I saw an Akira one tonight with the
That's
with the
awesome.
scooter from New Donk City. So people
Can I-
like, yeah, go ahead.
It's instead of the motorcycle.
Where do you get the astronaut suit from?
That would be the moon.
Oh, right.
You know what's crazy
Okay.
about that is I skipped over that too when I first went there because I just got so excited about all the moon gravity and going to
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah, I also missed that the first time through.
That's
But-
exactly what I did.
Let me tell you something. That moon suit is fantastic. Like
Yeah,
it's one of the coolest ones in the game.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, enough. Spoilers over.
Yeah. You
One
can come
other
back
thing,
now, but they wouldn't know to come back because
Yeah, I wouldn't know to come back because they've turned it off. One other, and I would say this is probably the best for last. This huge feature that they're introducing into Splatoon, convenient gear swapping. Players that want to change gear between battles and regular battle, ranked, and Splatfest won't have to go to the lobby anymore. You can do it from the match room.
Now that is a massive update that people
And
have been
that's-
asking for since Splatoon launched 3
Yeah.
years ago, the original. So that is really quite huge.
Yeah, so like add in all of this stuff, and you know how I busted on Nintendo earlier for the sale thing, you know? Kudos Nintendo that none of this comes out of a loot box.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's no loot boxes here. You buy the game and it's all there. It just comes in months later and it's free.
This game is not published by EA.
Ooh,
Thank God.
shots fired.
So mid-December update is coming as well. Clam Blitz. Basically, you run around the map and you collect clams. And when you go over them, the clam follows the player, and the objective is to throw the clam into a basket near the opponent's base. The first team to score 100 points wins. Baskets protected by a barrier, which must be destroyed first. And then like there's all kinds of upgrades, like when you collect 10 clams, and yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, 10 clams converts to 1 power clam apparently. Guys, this thing is massive, right? Now I'm going to be honest here. I'm actually more excited for this Clam Blitz. I think the rest of this is cool. I think that, it's nice aesthetics and nice adjustments. I'm more excited for new levels and Salmon Run and stuff like that. But Clam Blitz, I don't know why, but I'm really excited to get my hands on that and try that. What do you guys think of this update to Splatoon? Jesse, you don't play Splatoon very much, so you don't really have probably an opinion. But I'd like to hear
play it at all.
Oh, at all. Okay, so no opinion.
No opinion.
I'm going to defer to you, Mr. Estes.
I'm freaking excited. I'm stoked. Like there's so much I think to unpack here that it's going to be game changing. It's going to be game changing to be able to change your gear on the fly. It's going to change the game, of course, with the extra mode and everything. But just the fact that like Nintendo didn't just say, "All right, we're going to drop this game." And we'll give you some weapons every now and then, and we'll give you a new stage, sometime for the next 2 years or whatever, or a year. They basically said, okay, it's about a year or half a year out from release. Have a massive update.
Yeah.
Have 50% more content. And that's why people love this game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons people love this game is because you just never know. Like what this makes me the exciting part to me is asking what do they still have held back?
Yeah, that is a bit mad, right? Like I'm wicked impressed. I mean, you think about this. I mean, it was only last week that we were talking about the ARMS update with all the awesome content in that. Now, I actually almost kind of wonder if, again, we talked about before the challenge of how Nintendo has kind of in a way put ARMS against Splatoon and challenged kind of the I guess the growth of ARMS in itself. So I mean, ARMS came out last week with a big update, and then like a week later, we're hitting Splatoon with a big update. Now are you now moving that audience who is back to maybe playing ARMS and re-engaging that back over to Splatoon to check it out as well? Do you guys?
Next thing you know, we're going to get a Breath of the Wild update. Oh wait.
Well, wait. Yeah, I mean, we can talk. Let's. I don't want to jump into that one quite yet, Jesse. But I think you are right. I mean, we this morning when I got up and grabbed my Switch, I saw an update on the corner of my screen that says an update has been provided to Breath of the Wild. I don't know what's in the update. When is our question is, when is the big update coming, right? But it's just killing it. I don't know. What do you guys feel about this in relation to the updates comparatively to ARMS and Splatoon, or is it just like everyone's kind of just making stuff up and they don't really need to worry about it?
I think that at this point there are people who are just going to play ARMS and they're just going to play Splatoon. I mean, I think that in the beginning, did it fracture the player base? Yes. And I think that I still think that it was too soon. I'll go to my grave thinking it was too soon. That's how sure I am of it.
That is what I was going to say on your gravestone. Marty Estes. Yeah. ARMS was too soon, but he has gone.
Splatoon was too soon.
Yes, Splatoon
too soon. No, like I still think that it's like that's how sure of it I am, because I know people who quit playing ARMS. Even though it's a million seller, that they were just like, I just don't. I'm playing Splatoon now. But I think now, like especially with the party crash or the party clash thing, that like ARMS is bringing back its audience. Like it's like I know Splatoon is going to give updates, right? I know that's going to happen, like because that's how the first cycle with the first game went. And for that reason, when ARMS gets an update, I tune in just a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like I pay attention just a little bit more because I'm like, well, what else are they going to do? Because I mean, now
right.
We've got like 3 new characters and 3 new stages, and now we have a whole new mode that's like Splatfest, and really, I think that's the way to go. I think that's Nintendo's edge with ARMS is they've got to do something that's varied up, that is competitive, because there's all these modes that are in ARMS that just to be real honest, I don't think people give a rip about, but they're good. They're good modes, like the headlock thing, and volleyball can go burn in the depths of Hades. But like I'm trying to think, not the Target one, but the other one. Oh my gosh. I forgot. Is that basketball? I love basketball. I love hoops. In fact, I just wrecked a kid earlier tonight on hoops, like 10-1. It was, or 10 to nothing. It was awful. But like they've had enough variety, I think, to pull people back. Whereas with Splatoon, like even with this update, let's be honest, you know what you're going to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that to knock Splatoon at all. I'm saying that you know what you're going to get, and it's good. It's good to know. And Splatoon, this update is awesome, but I think there's players for both now. The player pool for ARMS may just be smaller, but it's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. I don't know.
No, I think it's interesting to see how they're approaching the content for both of them. I guess my final commentary on that is just I love the fact that Nintendo's strategy for supporting both these games continues, right? And we're seeing major updates for both, obviously, to the point that Jesse was making. Breath of the Wild is, DLC Pack 2 is supposed to be coming by the end of this year, I believe. So, I mean, we are less than 5 weeks away, and we're going to get another pack for DLC. Obviously, that one was paid, not free, but you then look at Rabbids' strategy for DLC, their season passes. Like, it just seems like there's a lot of content rolling out to a point that it's just like, I don't know about you guys, but it just feels. I was talking to Sean Capri about this recently, but it's kind of like you're drowning in water, and someone's like, "Here, can I offer you a cup of water?" Do you know what I mean? Like, you're drowning, and you're just getting more and more content. So it's great because I'm going to jump back into Splatoon and play exactly like I was going to, right? So this is exactly what they want us to do.
All this on top of the other backlogs that we already have.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think of last year when we were with the Wii U, and it was like, so who's playing Paper Mario Color Splash? Cool. Let's talk about that for an entire month, right? But now we are in a very, very different place. Any other big news items? Actually, Jesse, you put this one in here, a top story, Pokemon the movie. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Yeah. So this is, I think this is the 20th movie. It's, Pokemon the movie, I Choose You is kind of a reimagining of the original, like the original animation's first episode. Where we're back to Ash and Palatown getting Pikachu for the first time, and seeing how things are going. It does change things up because it includes like the new legendary from Ultra, the Sun and Moon. So a lot of people I've heard of, think that's kind of out of place, considering that this is a retelling of what we first saw 20 years ago. It had a small theatrical run a few weeks ago, and it's going to be airing on Disney XD in a few days. On Saturday, the 25th, it'll air at 10 a.m. Eastern, and then re-air later that afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern. So, if you get the channel, adjust your time zone as appropriate. I plan on watching it. I wanted to see it in theaters, but I didn't get around to it. So I have my DVR set to record it.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Well, folks, anything else that we're missing?
No, I think we need to have a conversation about all the things we've been playing.
Do we ever? All right, let's jump into that. Cue the bumper.
Yeah, speaking of things we're missing Zach and the bumpers.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, so what have we been playing, guys? I'm looking at this list. This is mad. Let's start off with this, Jesse. Jesse, I'm coming to visit you soon, right? In a couple of weeks.
That's the rumor.
That's a rumor, right? We're gonna make magic happen, and I'm excited that you might be wearing a brand new apron to barbecue if I come over, right? And great state or great area of Kansas City, great barbecue seems appropriate. But you got a for those of you that don't know, head over to our YouTube channel and check out the fine folks over at Battle Chef Brigade and Adult Swim sent Jesse a wonderful gift for reviewing Battle Chef Brigade. But Jesse, let's maybe start off with that. You have been playing this for a couple of weeks now. How is that going? What are your thoughts on Battle Chef Brigade?
Yeah, I think I got it on Friday, so I've been playing it almost a week. But I did finish the story, and it's kind of broken up into 6 chapters. Each chapter does tell a distinct section of the story, and then the next chapter, really switches things up. Almost every chapter changes things around. But the overall premise is a hard premise to get a hold of. Yeah, it's if you're just looking at it for the first time. Yeah, I explained it to my son, and the look on his face was, "What?" It's basic. Yeah, so it's a an side-scrolling action action adventure game. You're running around and beating up monsters, collecting these monster parts, and then you go to a puzzle section where you cook the monster parts to make meals. And then the puzzles are in the form of you get a 4x4 grid, and each food item or the ingredient you collect while you're in the battle phase will have as little as a 2x1 orientation of elements of either. It could be red for fire, green for earth, blue for water, a bone piece, or a poison piece. And then up to I think like a 2x2, so 4. So it'll take up 4 squares out of your 16 squares in your grid. And so you drop them into the grid, and then you have various pans that you stir the ingredients while you're cooking them, and you do that with the ZL, ZR buttons, and you have a reticle that takes up a 4x4 or a 2x2 square, and then it'll rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise within that small square. So you're stirring the food as you cook.
Okay.
And then there's other. You start off with a dull pan that has no extra benefit. You have to do a match 3 to. Like most of the things are level 1 gems, and then if you combine 3 of them, you turn into a level 2 gem. Then you combine 3 of those to get the level 3 gem, and that's what that's the highest level gem. They won't combine, but they're the ones that you ultimately want. And so the way the combat works is you go up in a cooking duel against another chef.
Okay.
So then there's a time limit. You have to run out, do your battling, get your ingredients, then you cook and prepare the food within this time limit, and whatever the judge is judging the food for that particular instance. Sometimes there's only 1 judge, sometimes it could be up to 3, and then the more judges, the more meals you have to prepare, but you have more time to do it.
Okay.
So each judge will want a specific element to be its primary element. So
it's kind of like Iron Chef when the secret ingredient is tofu.
Well, that's a little bit different.
Make dishes associated with it. No?
That's a little different. So like one judge always likes fire. One judge always likes earth.
Okay.
And then sometimes they want a combination. So if the judge wants earth, you want to have more green level 3 gems left than anything else. Than any other level 3. You can have other level 3 gems to add to the point value, but you have to have more green than anything.
Okay.
And if they want 2, if they want a fire and a water, then they have to have the same number. And that's what hung me up, because once I turned in a dish that had 2 reds and a blue, and they said that wasn't good, because they have to be the same number. So I can make 1 and 1, and he'll like it. I can make 2 and 2, and he'll like it. Like 2 and 2 and 1 green, and he'll still like it, because the one that has the most quantity of level 3 gems is what's prominent. And if he wants more than 1, then they have to meet the match.
Right.
There's actually 1 match in there. You have to have all 3 elements involved. So you can have 1 of each, or 2 of each, or 3 of each. But if they aren't exactly the same, that doesn't count. Okay. So then every match has to contain a part of a specific monster. So that's what you were talking about tofu.
Okay.
So it starts off with I think creatures that are easy to kill. Kill 5 or 6 of them. You have enough parts to do what you need to do with. And then later on in the game, you get into more and more difficult creatures. There was one point where I had to kill a dragon, and I have never found a good strategy. I either got lucky with or not. Because, if you die, you just respawn, but you take a small time hit. But if it takes you 4 deaths to kill a dragon, you've lost 3 minutes. And if you only have 6 minutes, then you've already lost half your time.
Yeah. So, you're not in a good place then, eh?
Right.
Okay.
So I enjoyed the game. I had fun through it. And there's other modes, too. There's a daily challenge where it sets up a loadout for you. I didn't even get to the other pans, but I'll talk about that later if I had to. But it gives you a specific loadout, so everyone has the same loadout when they play it, and then it's kind of still the same thing. Go out hunting. Look, you need to have. You're looking for this element or this monster type, and then whatever. Excuse me. And then whatever your score is gets ranked in a leaderboard style.
Nice.
And then there's a new one every day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the website here at Nintendo's eShop, and it says here hand drawn characters and monsters, a very cool art style like that. I like this: a chef's pairing of equal parts old school brawler and combo puzzler, served with a side of light LRPG progression. So it's very cool. And they mentioned the leaderboards here. So this is very cool. Now this is available currently on the Nintendo Switch, and this is priced on your eShop at $24.51 for a digital price. So yeah, very cool. And again, that is from Adult Swim as publisher, and Trinket Studios is the developer as well. So
yeah, it's also
Jesse,
available on PC via Steam, and
cool.
Looks like it's going to be. They're still planning on a Mac and Linux versions, but I don't think they're out yet.
Okay, awesome. So Jesse, you give it a recommendation, yeah?
Yeah, if you like puzzle games, then this is one to give it a try. If you're not a fan of puzzle games, I don't think the combat alone will be enough, because the puzzling is a big part is the majority of the game.
Okay,
awesome. Because that's what gives you your points.
Yeah. Great, awesome. Thank you. Thanks very much. Now, speaking of a game that is probably a little bit also about trying to find food and scavenge and exist, maybe not in the same way, but Marty, you have picked up Skyrim, and I'm very excited to hear about your impressions and how this has been for you over last week. So Marty, kick us off on that.
Yeah. So we had this conversation.
Sorry, I don't hear that. No, just keep moving. Pretend like he's not here. Just keep going.
What? Hey, you people gotta wake up. You people, I was listening on stream. You people sound like you're asleep. Masson. Anyways, what's up, guys?
Oh, we're here.
Hey, everyone. This is Zach Erickson, Nintendo Dad's podcast.
No. Get out of here. Get. Shoo.
Sorry.
You sit in the background. When I want to speak to you, I'll ask you.
Already in progress. All right. You know what I have for you, Justin? I have it right here. A little thing that I like to stall time.
Wobble Buffett?
All right. Now we can.
Look at you.
Oh, there it is. Now it's a podcast.
No, it was a podcast beforehand. He just happened to show up with a soundboard. All right. So moving on. Thanks for rudely coming in and interrupting our progress.
Okay. Sorry. Continue.
We'll come to you in a couple
minutes.
Last
week we had this conversation among the four of us about games, about things coming up, and about big retail games coming up, and we realized that no one had taken Skyrim, and no one was stepping up to be able to do that. And so I decided that would be me. And the reason for that is that I have a pretty interesting history with the game, and that being that I played this game on my Xbox 360 about 30 to 45 minutes about 2 to 3 years ago, and I absolutely hated it. It was so bad to me at the time. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is so stupid. Why do people like this game? Because at the time it was winning all these game of the year, and everything was like that. Why? Everybody's gone insane. This is a dumb game. And so when the opportunity came up again, I thought maybe I've been a little unfair. And the reason for that thought was that I was telling Justin this earlier, and Jesse too, that and some weird math here, because I hated Skyrim, that equaled to me that I was going to hate Breath of the Wild, because it was an open world game where you had to scavenge, where you had to survive, where you had to do all this stuff. So what's happened is I've played Breath of the Wild and I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the open world stuff. And that has made me appreciate Skyrim, seeing as how that was most likely one of the biggest building blocks toward Breath of the Wild, as the developers, created that and crafted that world. So, so far so good. I downloaded this game last week right after the show, and I have had so much fun with it that I actually have surprised myself. I've had quite a bit of time over the last week or so to play games, and a lot of it has been bouncing back and forth from game to game. We'll get a review code in, or we'll get a copy in, and we'll have to play it. But I keep coming back to Skyrim because it's just I guess it's got its claws in me. I don't know. It and here's the thing, it's just as playable on the Nintendo Switch as you would want it to be. Now, I've not tried like the motion controls or anything like that, and I've not tried it in handheld mode. I've played it only docked, and I've put about 2.5 hours into it roughly. So, like, I can't sit here and give you like some definitive review on it, but I can say, like, so far it is run perfectly. It looks beautiful. The sound is great. It's a Bethesda game, so like one thing you can expect is that NPC characters are going to act weird at some point. But there's no, like, so far I've not experienced any game breaking bugs or anything like that. And I have to say it's an excellent port of this game to the Switch, and I'm looking forward to going all the way through it.
So
like,
any flying cattle or anything like that?
No, I haven't seen any flying cattle yet. Like at the point where I'm at in the game, and if you've played through the game, you'll know that, like, instantly where I'm. I killed my first dragon, and I got the first word of like the big, the most popular shout that everybody knows, that they memed forever, the Fusroda. And like at this point, like I don't want to be a bad guy. Like that's just the way I play these games. Like if I have a choice, I don't want to be a bad guy, but I really just want to like happen along a cliff where there's somebody there that needs to be blown off the side of it so I can shout at them and see what happens.
I think even a good person would do that at least once out of curiosity.
Sure.
So you're probably
maybe. Like yeah, I'll probably just find a place
I have the ability to do this.
The trick is just don't let anyone else see you, then it won't affect your orientation or whatever.
There you go.
Whatever that stat's called. I don't know.
Guess what I'm looking for tomorrow on the drive to my parents when my wife's driving and I'm playing Switch.
I do not want to be stuck in a back alley with Marty. That's all I want. Or Jesse, for that matter. I mean, given that's the advice you're giving. But
yeah, so to wrap this up and just kind of and move on, and because we've got a butt ton of other games to talk about, I would highly recommend this game. Coming as someone who was a skeptic of Skyrim leading up to this point, I would highly recommend it. I think this is one of those games, especially third party wise. Like I know some people are saying this about Doom, that you need to own this, that you need to play this, you need to support this. I say the same thing for Skyrim, not having played Doom other than a demo on Xbox One.
My understanding is
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an excellent version of the game. It does not feel dialed down or skimped down at all. It feels like it was built for the platform. It feels like there was a lot of love put into it. I think you should buy it. I think it should be on your Christmas list if you're looking for something meaty to sink your teeth into. And I know we've got Xenoblade coming up too, but if that kind of RPG is not your cup of tea, go the other direction and pick this up.
Nice. Excellent.
What were you saying, Zach? You were saying your understanding is...
my understanding is that Skyrim is a considerably better port than Doom is. As far as like how smooth it runs, both of the panic button ports, being Doom and Rocket League, have that dynamic resolution thing going for them, where they get very low resolution. I'm not saying that Doom is not a playable game; it absolutely is. But from what I've seen, Skyrim seems to be. I think part of it is that it's like a 6-year-old game at this point too, right? So it's so it maybe is it's not like porting Doom to the Switch was a very ambitious endeavor, like compared to porting Skyrim, I guess was what I would say with that. But yeah,
there's just things that go on in this game, and I would probably say the same thing about Doom that just don't feel very Nintendo-like. Like I read a post today about somebody who said there's just something this happened during Skyrim, and I was sitting there the whole time going, "This is not right. This is not right." Where he blocked with the Hylian shield and shoved the Master Sword through a dog's face. And it was like, there's something about this. This is not right. This is not right.
But it feels so good.
But it feels so good. And it's so nice. Yeah, totally recommend it. Even if because here's the thing, I would say this version is probably better than the others. And this is where some people might go, oh, it's because it's on Nintendo. Yeah, that's why I'm saying it, actually, because I can pick it up and take it with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why, honestly, that's where I finished a lot of Breath of the Wild. In waiting rooms, in doctor's offices, and things like that, I played that game. And so now I'm doing the same with Skyrim.
Nice. Awesome. So this is a highly recommend for you.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. like everyone doesn't. It'd be nice for every once in a while for someone to be like, you know what, this game is horrible. Don't buy it.
Oh, don't worry, I got one coming. Don't worry.
Do you? Good. Okay.
I did that last week, actually. if you remember that.
I do actually remember that. That's fair enough. We're going to talk about that in a couple of moments, though, for sure. All right. So Zach, we didn't forget you. We were not remiss. I actually have you in our show notes for something to talk about. Zach, you have been playing Pokemon Ultra Sun.
Nope. Ultra Moon.
Ultra Moon.
Yep.
Yes, Ultra Moon. That's right. Thank you very much. What's going on with that? What up with that?
So thanks to Nintendo of Canada for sending Nintendo or Pokemon Ultra Moon. My son, I have to tell the story real quick, but for the longest time when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, and I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. That we'll say what we have. I appreciate the gift and it's wonderful, for review. My son got Pokemon Sun and I got Pokemon Moon back last year. And for the past 6 months, as soon as it was released, he was very much like, "Oh, Dad, maybe because I had Sun last time and you had Moon last time, this time you can get Pokemon Ultra Sun and I'll get Pokemon Ultra Moon." And I was like, okay, sure. And then we told him hey, we're not going to get the games at launch. Maybe you can get it for Christmas or something. And then Pokemon Ultra Moon showed up at our house. So his version of the game arrived at our house and he was like, "That's my version, Dad." And I was like, well, Dad has to play this for review, and once I'm done with it, then we'll see what we do with it. I don't know. So I may be playing through it and then wiping the file and transferring my Pokemon to bank, and he can do his own thing. I don't care, whatever. So, anyways, so having said that, it's I am through. This game is I'm surprised at how similar the game is to Pokemon Sun and Moon.
That's what I've heard, is that people are saying it's 90% at least.
So basically, yeah. So all of the main. So for those of you Justin, you have Sun and Moon was really, other than our retro rewind of Red and Blue, it was really your first. Yeah, it was your first Pokemon game, right? So you haven't been through the whole life cycle of each generation. The early generations basically were. There was Pokemon Red, there was Pokemon Blue, and then there was Pokemon Yellow, right? And Pokemon Yellow had a slightly different storyline, right? It followed the anime a lot more, and so there were a few different story beats. The Pokemon were maybe a little bit different. You could get a lot more of certain kinds of Pokemon in it, and all that sort of stuff. And this game, they marketed this game like it was this sequel, and this is the Pokemon Yellow of Sun and Moon, where basically they have added new characters into it. They've changed some of the character motivations, but essentially it's the same game with more story beats, more and more, some new. I wouldn't even say new mechanics. I guess there would be. For example, I just got to the second island. And you remember in Pokemon Sun, the first ones, you would, at the end of that first island, you would have the challenge with you'd have the challenge with the kahuna of the island, right? Mm-hmm. And then you would get on a boat and you would travel to the next island. Mm-hmm. This time they said, "Oh, well, you challenged the kahuna, you should now go Mantine surfing." And so I went to the beach, which is now there's this new beach area on the first island. You go down to the beach and they basically have this sort of Tony Hawk's manta ray surfing mini game as you go from island to island, right? So you kind of do little tricks as you fly, and you surf from island to island now instead. Okay. And so little things like that, basically all the Pokemon are the same. At least in the first trial, there was almost nothing different about it at all. There are each island now has stickers that you can kind of hunt around in the main overworld. So you walk by the Pokemon Center and there's this little orange sticker and you go and collect them. And apparently there's 20 on the entire island. Right. And if you collect all of them, then you can go and get a totem, the actual totem Pokemon that's in that first trial. It sounds like you basically go and get one of those. Like he said, I'll just give you a Totem Raticate, which is super cool. I didn't find all of them before I moved on, but I think this is like the thing about the third version games, which is what this is they are for people like if you didn't play Sun and Moon, skip it and go to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. If you are a huge Pokemon fan and you have to have every edition, then you probably already have this game. If you played Sun and Moon and were like, that was kind of fun, I don't know, like, don't come to this thinking you're going to get a new experience, because you're going to get a remix of the game that you played last year. So that's kind of what I would say with that. There are definitely, like, the post game, it sounds like you can catch like just about every legendary that's ever been in any game. So that's fun. And I will say too, like there are certain it's battle points that are used as a currency to buy certain competitive items and moves and stuff like that. In Sun and Moon, it was like in the end game, and you had to do this like competitive tournament thing. You can earn those same points doing the Mantine surfing, which is pretty sweet, because those are really hard to get in Sun and Moon, and they've streamlined a whole bunch of the stuff around that, which I think is cool too. So I think it's a really great version of the game. It's a better version. Like Sun and Moon, I think we called that our game of the year last year, right?
I think so.
And this is a better version of that game. Like some of the story beats, the character motivations are a little bit muddied in this version. They're maybe not as interesting. But let's be real, nobody goes to a Pokemon game for the story. They go to it for the collecting and those sorts of things. Okay. So that's sort of my initial impressions of that game.
Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Let's move on to our next game. Mr. Estes, you're back. Fantastic. And the next game that was rolled out before we move into our quickfire impressions is releasing a day early. If you did not kind of go through the backdoor Australia way to pick it up, was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp for the handheld. And I'm going to assume, did everyone pick this one up?
I lost my save file.
Yeah, well, you made a poor choice a couple weeks ago when you guys decided to use it.
No, you know what? I did. Here's the thing, though, is that it was entirely my fault, because I could for some reason I got ahead of myself. I could have just signed into my Nintendo immediately and then backed up my save, then deleted the app and reinstalled it from the Canadian App Store. But I didn't do that for some reason. I just deleted it, like just absentmindedly. And I'm like, wait, no, what?
Same here. I did the exact same thing.
No. So anyways, I'm kind of glad that I did that, though, because now I know now how to move forward efficiently and like what to focus on, all that kind of stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, I've already got like 3 crafting slots now. Thanks to Zach's advice.
That was the first thing I did. Yeah, pro tip, spend your first, because especially if you get My Nintendo, you get additional Leaf, whatever they are.
Leaf tickets.
Leaf tickets. Spend those to get those other crafting slots immediately.
And it's going to cost you 160 Leaf tickets, but it's going to save you a ton of time later on.
I have 225 Leaf tickets currently. I haven't done nothing with them.
Yeah, so go buy those crafting slots. Okay. That's definitely
do that or be the man who bites the bullet for the show and save up 25 more and get KK Slider.
Oh, that's my next thing, dude. I am not spending any tickets, because the thing is that early on in this game, there's no reason to spend Leaf tickets on things that, like, it will seem like, especially because they ramp it up. It feels like, oh man, instead of waiting 2 minutes for this thing, I have to wait like an hour or 3 hours for this thing that I have to craft. I would say ride that wave, because you got to get used to it, because very quickly after that, it's like 2 days for some things to be crafted. So save those tickets, because it's not worth spending them.
Okay. So, interesting. What are your guys' general thoughts or impressions on the game? You guys had playing it earlier, obviously, that I kind of joked about before. Anything else kind of from your thoughts on this?
We didn't really talk about it, I don't think, when it launched. Had the soft launch in Australia, and Zach and I got it. Maybe Zach and I did a reaction to that direct, but I don't know that we ever really spent time talking about it. I love this game. I mean, it's Nintendo at its best on mobile, and I don't know what what more you could ask for. It takes lessons that they've learned from Miitomo, Fire Emblem, and Mario Run and kind of mixes them together. And the only way I know to describe this is a full Animal Crossing game, except for the fact that you have to wait for things to be crafted sometimes. So, like, other than that, it is Animal Crossing. Everything you can do in an Animal Crossing game, you can do in the mobile version. Want to hunt bugs? Hunt bugs. You want to fish? Fish. Except here's the thing. From the very beginning of the game, you already have the net. You already have the fishing pole.
Mm-hmm.
So
the thing I would say, I would clarify that a little bit. Like, it's like in one of my favorite things to do in Animal Crossing on the 3DS was to really, like, I set up this really awesome orchard in a certain part of it, right? Where, like, you don't really you can't craft the terrain of your town or whatever, right? No. Like, it's all the relationship stuff of Animal Crossing, though.
Right. And to be clear, I mean, it's a core Animal Crossing game on mobile. Maybe that's the better way of saying it.
Sure.
Some of the other things that you have come to know, especially if you've played New Leaf and Amiibo, Welcome Amiibo, you're not going to be able to do those things. But like, everybody is going to get the same layout to begin your campsite. You know, like the ground. I'm talking about like the terrain, like what you just mentioned. It's all going to look the same. The seaside's going to look the same. You know, the orchard where you go get fruit's going to look the same. But what you do with it from there, it makes it Animal Crossing. And so I think this is like Nintendo's sweet spot. It's a free game. It's fun to get into. It's kind of captivating once you finally start playing it and kind of get everything up and running. And then that's where they can start trying to charge you money. Because, like, seriously, yesterday, I was like, maybe I buy this 40 tickets. Because, you buy 20 and you get 20 free.
I'll be honest, I did buy tickets already. I bought what is it, the cheap one, like the 99-cent one?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy that. Then I realized 40 tickets is not very many tickets, and to actually get enough to buy it, I mean, this is notorious. This is scary too. Is like, and again, these are in Canadian prices, so it's even a little bit more. But for 100, because I was like, oh man, I really want to get like either the KK slider or the Tom Nook chair, right? And I was like, I'm just gonna go see how much it will cost. For $5.49, you get 120 tickets. The chair costs $250, so you got to pay over $10 to get that chair, right? Like, that's how much that chair costs. Is at least here's the thing that's crazy too, and this is just annoying, but you can't buy 250 tickets. You can buy 200 tickets, and it'll cost you $11 Canadian, and then you can't buy an extra 50 tickets because you can only buy them. You could buy 45 for $279, right? And so it's like they've so strategically put things into place. So this is 250 tickets, and you have to buy way more tickets than you need in order to get that.
Yeah.
So that's, you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff bugs the crap out of me. And so I was like, screw it. I'm not paying for that. I'm just playing this game from now on, it's free to play only. Having said that, the My Nintendo things, buying resources later on, like steel or cotton or whatever for those coins, that's going to be a nice thing to be able to do because that's something that later on in the game, I was running into that a lot, where I was like, I really want to build this bench, but it costs like 60 steel, and I don't have 60 steel right now.
The only complaint that I would say I have right now about the game is a complaint that's common to a lot of people's experience, and that is the communication errors that you're experiencing. Yeah, like Phoenix Moore, who's a fan of the show yesterday, he tweeted right after it came out, like, he tweeted this really excited, it's here, image of him like standing outside his camper for the first time, and then he tweeted later, this has been my experience with the game all day, and it was like the communication error screen. And I've gotten it too, like, several times, and I don't know if it's just server load.
It must be, yeah.
Or it has to be. I mean, like, but like,
I was having errors
here's
where
Nintendo's experience in are inexperienced in this area, like how does this happen? Like the game's been out for over a month, and in one territory, you know what the load was going to be there. Why not the rest? Why not anticipate?
I think with that though, Marty, my understanding from people who have launched games like this before is that part of the launch is like you don't want to overcompensate for that launch to the point, like, for example, if it takes X number of servers to keep this game running, once it kind of levels out, like that initial thing, like, yes, you want to compensate it and have it be like there's a certain level of errors that is acceptable for them. And I think that especially in the first day or two, like that's you just ride that out a little bit, because if otherwise the number of resources that it's going to take for that, especially at the beginning, to run, and then you end up having all these like empty servers that aren't doing nothing or whatever. That's my very limited understanding of how this works goes. But like, I wonder if A, they didn't anticipate the demand that it was going to have, and B, if part of that is just sort of acceptable to them as they kind of figure out how it works out. So I don't know. That's just sort of my thought on it. Not to be like this total apologist and fanboy about it, but that's sort of, I don't know. Those are the kind of
sort of what you're doing.
That's kind of what I would say. In defense, not to be an apologist, but here's my defense of Nintendo, which is exactly what that is. But yeah, Justin, you hadn't played it yet.
I hadn't. I am now. I find it like it's. I've never played any Animal Crossing games other than Happy Home Designer, and that was, my kids really liked that one, so that was kind of the hook there for me. I find it very relaxing, very soothing, but I don't really know what the hell I'm doing.
That is the Animal Crossing experience.
So maybe that's So maybe that's my confusion. I'm like,
that's the whole point.
So here's the mode that I'm going into right now. Like, I'm not crafting anything. I am hoarding everything. Like, I am like, I will get all the fish. I will shake every tree. Take down every, like, winter is coming, and I am going to be prepared, and I'm going
if you don't give away any of those sweet, delicious collectibles, how are you ever going to make any friends?
Oh, I am doing that. Like, I'm going and seeing them. Okay, you need one of these, but like, I am not crafting anything. I'm not making anything. I am resource farming right now. And then I just went to the market and put some things down, and I was like, hey, 100 coins, I'm gonna undercut the economy by a 20% deduction. I'm gonna say I'm gonna post them for 80 to see the sales. So I'm playing a little bit strategic, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But the thing that I find sort of frustrating with it, I'll say this: the game is fun. I enjoy playing it. The micro transactions, I'm not 100% sure about that, kind of like you said, Zach. But it's a fact that at this point, this is the third, fourth game from Nintendo or platform or app that has friend codes and has connections. Like, I shouldn't need to have a different code again for this, right? Like, I should be like, hey, there's Zach, there's Jesse, there's Marty, boom, they're in, I'm happy.
Well, right? have you synced yours to Facebook and Twitter yet?
No.
I know. Okay, so they bury that in the settings, but there is a way to sync your Facebook account and your Twitter account to the game. And so
I'm going to go do that right now. So more settings.
And then it'll say, like, at the bottom, it'll have a Facebook and a Twitter icon.
Can I say that the way to find your friend code to share it in this game is one of the most god-awful menus ever?
It's under more. It's under more.
No, you go to your friends, and then you go to add friend, and then, like, because I looked for it everywhere, because I'm seeing everybody post all these images, right, about their friend code. You have to actually tap on add friend to find your friend code.
Yeah.
Why?
Sorry, Zach. Where do I go?
Hang on. I'm just giving a cherry to an elephant. I got it.
Chris in the chat says it's not settings; it's under friends.
Okay, so
hang on. Dang it, Eloise, go away. I know you want to be my friend, but
okay, add friends.
She gave me Steel, so that's okay.
Okay, there's Twitter.
That's a good trade.
Linked.
That's a good trade. One cherry, and she gave me a chunk of Steel in return. So she's a good friend. Okay, so go to more.
Yep.
Friends.
Yep.
And then add friend.
Yes.
And then scroll all the way to the bottom, and it says there's the Facebook icon, the Twitter icon.
But do we really have to do this still? Like I
The
feel
fact
like
that I think that
I feel like
the
we've given
functionality
enough.
the functionality here, well, that's the thing, right? Is that I hope that next year, when we actually have all of our freaking our Nintendo account stuff, all our ducks are in a row here, right? And we finally have our online account system that they've promised us. They've said that, right? They haven't said that in a press release, but they have said it in an earnings call or whatever before in those presentations. So we know that that's coming, is online friend management and all that sort of stuff. That's got to be here in the next 6 months. Like that, and anything moving forward, any new games that they release, that needs to be there.
Yeah. So so now I've linked my account. So now how do I find friends?
So now it's going to say you need to give us some time, and then come back come back tomorrow morning, or I guess come back like later this afternoon for you, and just go through your friends list, because I have a bunch of people that are on there. So
yeah.
So that is the best way to do it, and that was the best way in Miitomo as well, right?
I have a friend named The Beard, and I really hope that's Eric Plunk.
Either that or it's Brian Welch, man. Could be Brian Welch.
Yeah, one of the two.
No, it's definitely Brian.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, it would be Brian, not Eric.
I don't know if I'm friends with Brian Welch on.
Yeah.
Brian, if it's you, then you need to comment on this video on YouTube or send us an email and let us know. Otherwise, you've just friended someone. You've friended someone's beard.
The problem is I am kind of just like, I will friend anyone, which is probably not a good thing.
You know what? That's what happened to me, and I have done that. The thing is that you, like with a recent update, you could do that in Miitomo, or when you can now friend people on your Switch that you're friends with in Miitomo. And I just friended everybody in Miitomo. And now I'm like, now I'm just friends with everyone on my Switch. So I've just made liberal use of the favorites function in the Switch.
Okay,
so,
if I see someone, so I'm going to ask you this. So I see Phoenix. Phoenix is selling a squid. I want to buy a squid.
Yep, you buy it.
Do I view player settings or visit player?
No, you just tap on the squid.
Yeah, no, it's not working for me.
What?
I'm here. I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah, just tap on the squid, dude. Or
no, it's not happening.
Oh, you know what you have to do? You have to visit his campsite.
Okay,
so you actually have to go and visit him, and you go to his campsite and you like give him a kudos or whatever and talk to him in person at his campsite.
Okay.
By the way, I'm accepting all kudos.
Yes, me too. By the way, also everybody
you get items from that you can't get any other way.
Also, I am also accepting help for anybody who is going to help me into the quarry, because you need to do that. The quarry is something that's super confusing to me. So you go to it, and Shovel Strike Quarry says, enter with help from 5 friends. You need 5 more players to agree to help. And so you have to go and like tap on each one individually. Will you help me?
Do you want to friend me? And I'll do that for you. I'll help you.
Hey, I'm going to send Marty. Hey, Marty, you want to be my friend?
Okay.
Yeah. Help in the quarry?
Okay.
I thought that I had accepted a friend request from you this morning, but
no, we are.
So let's go back here. Animal Crossing, we'd recommend picking it up. Nintendo, there's some things you got to work on. Fair enough.
Online,
I think,
like the game's great, but the online infrastructure sucks.
Right. I think that the I don't even think it's the online, like their back end. I don't even think is that bad. I honestly think it's like menu design. Like that's what it comes down to for me. Is like, why is it so hard to have a thing why is it so hard to find my friends? It doesn't make sense.
But I would say I love the fact that like this is a lot, like I am enjoying it. I don't really know 100% what I'm doing, but I am enjoying what I am doing. That's fair.
Yeah. I would say that later on I'm interested to see how the My Nintendo implementation in this game, how that impacts the later game, because things slow down considerably. Like once I hit like level 20, 25 last time, it slowed to a crawl and I lost interest. And so I'm interested to see now if things are different and if they pick up.
Gotcha.
So, anyway.
Cool. All right. So let's move on to some quick fire impressions and information. We're actually head straight over to you, Marty. Actually, Zach, is there anything else that you're playing other than Pokemon that you want to quickly have?
I've got 2 different ones actually. I have.
Can I put you in quick fire? Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine. So one of them is Green Game Time Swapper. This was a code we got from the developer, and I'm not sure if somebody like Marty, if you can check the eShop for this one. It's the one with the weird. Yeah, it's called Green Game Time Swapper. and I think it's probably about $5 is what I would hope it is. Couple things is, first off, it is I am 98% sure that this is an iPad game or a mobile game of some kind. It is handheld mode only, which is something important to know. And quite frankly, I think that is inexcusable for what this game is. Because basically what you're doing is swiping left and right on the screen in order to trigger two different potential modes. So you're a little bird that's flying along from left to right, and you drag your finger from left to right on the screen. And it's not like, it doesn't even feel like there's a lot of sensitivity. It's like an on-off switch, where you basically, you flick left, you flick right, and you're turning it in, flipping it back and forth in two different modes. And so you'll have, for example, a little air gun thing that's shooting air, and the parrot's flying along, and you flip it into one mode, and all of a sudden the little air jet will start shooting air, and that will redirect the parrot into a certain direction, right? So he's flying horizontally, and then he hits the little air jet, and it shoots him up, right? It redirects him, and then you got to do something else to kind of redirect him, and you redirect him through the entire level, right? And the only way that you can do that is flip between those two modes is by swiping your finger across the touchscreen. Thing is you could literally do that with a button press, right? Or you could do it with moving the joysticks back and forth. But that, like, in theory, that's how that game should be controlled, but it's not. Like, you only could, like, it's very clear to me that they took this iPad or iPhone game and they ported it to Switch as quickly as possible with minimal effort. And so I would say that this is a game that is not, unless you really want to play an iPad game on your Switch, like a cheap iPad game, like it is interesting. There are some puzzles there, like for what it is. I think that it is definitely some of the puzzle design. It does make you think, but it is a 100%. It's a mobile game on Switch that you only play by using the touch screen. So I know there's on the eShop.
I'm not sure how much it is. Like I look it up on the eShop, and it's not like, it doesn't. Or I'm sorry, $2.99. At first, it didn't list a price.
Okay, so $2.99. So that's for $2.99, it is what it is, right? Like, I think that that is a mobile game price, and that's what you're getting is a mobile game on your phone or on your Switch. So if you want to spend $3 and get a little puzzle touchscreen thing, then cool. I think for that, I have a hard time. I guess I just have a hard time getting excited about, having, it's like low expectations, and those expectations would be met in that case. But you still have a game that you had low expectations for, and it delivered low experience. So I don't know, not for me maybe, but that's sort of where I'm at with that. The other game that I am playing, I just downloaded it last night, is a little game that's coming out tomorrow. What is it, Friday maybe? Portal Knights. I think it's coming out on Friday, the 24th. Anyway, Portal Knights is a game that's been out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 for a little while now. It is on Steam, I think, too. It is coming out tomorrow, so 23rd. So it is $29.99, so I think it's $25 in the States. And basically, this game is like, imagine if you took it's one part Minecraft, one part maybe like Diablo or Zelda, maybe. So like take the sort of overworld design and the resource management and the crafting that is in Minecraft, and then add a more sophisticated combat, not too sophisticated, mind you, but a little bit more sophisticated combat that's kind of like Zelda. And there are also big boss battles. I haven't gotten to a boss battle, but I I actually sunk quite a bit of time into this game last night. Like, I found myself, basically how it works is that instead of having one giant overworld, you start out in this little map area, and there is a portal that is already built, and it needs 6 blue blocks in order to activate. And so you go around doing certain things, mining. You may find some shards that you can then craft a blue block. All of this basically to say that the point is to get enough blocks to go to the next world. And I think there are 40 different worlds altogether. You can play as a warrior, an archer, or a mage. And it's fun. The combat, I started as a warrior, and the combat's kind of getting repetitious, but I hear that the archer and the mage have a little bit more nuanced combat. I'm going to try that out some more, but I was playing it in front of my son, and he was like, this game looks awesome. So it definitely is kind of, it's that art style and sort of the sort of, the artistic direction definitely feels like like aimed at kids a little bit. Although I've been having fun with it, actually. I will say the inventory management in this game sucks, though. Like, where it's very much just like, okay, well, I gotta go and put this stuff in my chest, and like in the chests and things like that, and it does get a little bit, especially because it really encourages you as you run into certain, like if you run into like a little tower, like you actually get rewarded. You can basically dismantle the entire thing and take all of the pieces with you, and build your own base with it. So it encourages you to dismantle bases as you go, just in how it's designed, and yet your inventory management sucks. And so that's something that's frustrating. The other thing, too, is that there are RPG elements, like you level up and you gain new abilities and new gear and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's where the Diablo piece comes in, too. So it's kind of cool. I like it.
Nice. Very cool. All right. So 2 new games, again, for people to check out. And then we'll throw it over to you. Marty, we've got a little bit of an update on one, right? And then a new impression. So why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so if you listened to the show last week, you heard me talk about Rime for the Switch and not say very nice things about it. The part, I guess, or the hang up for me is that this was a game that I really wanted to enjoy because thematically and graphically it interested me, but it ended up being disappointed. And you know that feeling when you get disappointed by a game that you had kind of been looking forward to, even just a little bit. It's not good, and that's where I was. And last week, the developer they released a new update for the game that brought the game to 1.0.1. And basically, what that update was supposed to do was help with the LOD, which is loading on demand, which this game does. It loads different sections of the game, of the map in each chapter based on where you are. And so if it's able to offload part of the map, then it can do that. And from what I understand, that's not just a Nintendo Switch thing. That's across all the consoles where it is. Okay, so this is a common error or a common issue that everyone's having to deal with. It's just that the Xbox One and the PS4, they deal with it, quite frankly, much better than the Switch did. So,
well, they have more resources to draw from, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they do. And so the what I was experiencing was some, to me, game-breaking stuttering issues that were going on with it, in which like it felt like the game was crashing in just certain spots, especially in the very first chapter. So the other day I downloaded the update and I thought, you know what, to be fair, and because people are asking about it on Twitter and on the Discord server and everything, I will do my best to give it a fair play and see if this update helped anything. That was on Monday. It was the day that my wife's side of the family was having Thanksgiving. So we were over at her house and they were playing. You know, there were people everywhere. There were people playing cards. There were people eating. They were doing things. I was sitting in their living room playing, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give, it's time. I need to give Rime a fair shake. I guess it's, you know, I'm here and I've got the time. I'll do it. I'll play something I want to play later. And then I got sucked into it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I tweeted out on Tuesday after finishing the game. I'm going to eat a lot of crow here on this one and tell you that you need to download Rime and you need to play through it.
So the bug was that important? Like the bug was that beneficial?
Yeah, the update, it doesn't fix everything. Okay, let me just be clear on that. But to me, in my experience, it did help. And this is one of those games where, and I'll use an internet term here, is potato quality in handheld mode, and docking it makes the difference. I don't know that they've come out and said that, but I know that, Ubisoft with Rabbids, Mario vs. Rabbids was definitely like, if you want it to be if you want a graphically superior version that runs a little bit better, you need to play it in docked mode, right? You don't need to play it in like there's times if you play Rabbids in handheld mode, it just gets a little blurry. And so these textures were a little jaggy in handheld mode. But here's really what happened was I played this game and it got fixed enough that I could kind of like say, okay, I could go through this. Like I kind of got used to it. And then I started to get into the story of it. And without giving a lot away, because there may be some listeners who still want to play this game and especially may want to go back and pick it up now that the review is a little bit more favorable. This is one of those games where the story is worth you playing through it, if that makes sense. Like, it's emotional. It's and I said this in my tweet too. The last 1/3 of the game is absolutely fantastic. Puzzle wise, pacing wise, it does like as a whole, the game gets off to a slow start, but once you make it past like chapter 2-ish, like 3, 4, and 5, they're fantastic. And there's some really gripping storytelling that's going on there without a single word being spoken.
Wow.
Okay, like the only word that you will hear in this entire game is your character can shout "Hey," and things happen, like at different statues and points of light and different things like that. So, like I don't know. Like I'll say your mileage may vary on this, okay? And for that reason, I'm going to cautiously say it's an okay / good game, but it could be great if they fixed all the issues. The developer did come out this past week and say, we know there's issues. We're sorry about that. We're working to optimize this game and fix it even post-launch.
Well, that's good.
Like, for those of you who pre-ordered it and like you heard our review and you went the other way, I'm sorry about that. But at the time, I guess the best way to say it is this: is last week I could not recommend this game to you.
Well, I don't think that you need to take the heat on that. They sent a game out to developers that was not ready for prime time. You know what I mean? And with the knowledge that people are reviewing this game and that this is the version that they wanted people to review. And so I don't think
just for the timetable for people to kind of see where this is at. We got the code to review this game 2 weeks before release, and we weren't allowed to talk about it until the day before. And so the embargo lifted on the 13th. The game released on the 14th, and the update did not come out until later on that week. Well, yeah, it was a day one update. You're right. And so I didn't get it until later on because I just didn't boot up the game. I didn't make it update. So in its pre-release state, I can't recommend it. In its current state, I would say I would cautiously recommend it, especially if you're in a place where like you're looking for Zelda / Tomb Raider / Shadow of the Colossus vibe. Like there's some of that there as well, like in the climbing segments and different puzzle solving things you got to do. Now I'll just say this, like most people, like the view that they have on this game is like that island, with the big white tower that's on the cover, right? And it's that. there are some way more varied locales because each chapter visits a completely different place. And it will make sense as you play it, but like chapter 2, you're in a desert and you're in hiding from this giant skeletal bird that, like, anytime you move out from under cover, the sides of the screen starts to turn red and it like dives down and grabs you. And so like the whole time you're moving from cover to cover, you know. And then stage 3 or chapter 3, completely different. Chapter 4, completely different. So I would say cautiously optimistic. Pick this up if you're into that type of game. But be advised too that this is one of those games that suffers from what the internet has dubbed Switch tax. That it's $10 more expensive on the Switch. From at least it was pre-release. Let me check.
Was that just the physical version though? I think that was just the physical version though. I could be wrong on that.
Let's take a look here. I'm gonna
digitally it's $29.99.
Okay, digital is $29.99. The standard edition of Rime for Switch is $39.99 if you want it in cartridge.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, if it were me, I would go with the digital download. But you may want to go with the cartridge so that you can go trade it in after it's done. And here's why. Again, without giving anything away, this is kind of a one playthrough game. I mean, there's like things you can find, like there's little keyholes that you can look through and build, like, you know, put together pictures, and you can find toys in the level for the boy. Yeah, I don't really like think that to me they weren't all that necessary. Like the ending of the game told the story it was supposed to tell. I don't think anything's going to change. So I think I'm not sure, but I went and read about the game after. It was like one of those things where you kind of had to unpack it a little bit. And so I went and read about it, and it didn't seem like there was any change noted in what I was reading.
So Marty, let me ask you this, just as we're going to segue onto our final game with you here. You've been a busy man. If you were to give it a scale, right, a rating scale out of 11, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it
I'll make it easy, out of 10.
Okay, out of 10, 6.5 to 7.
Okay.
And I hope
kind of like a cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm hoping that reflects that cautious optimism that I'm trying to get across. Like I definitely think this game has an audience. I definitely think this is one of those games that needs to be played. But I don't know if this goes against Nintendo Dads. I'm just gonna say it. Like I don't know if the Switch is the place to play it.
I think that's fair.
Like
it's not the first game we've said that on.
I'm worried that like they say they're going to fix it, but are they? You get what I'm saying? Like, are they?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I mean, there's other games we've been. I mean, NBA Playgrounds. Hello, still waiting on that patch that you promised us 5 months ago. It's not coming. That's why I deleted it off my Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
hey, Justin, real quick, did you guys talk about ARMS yet?
Yep.
About the thing? About the event?
We did not. No.
Because I just want to say, I mean, it's real quick, but that event, I like it a lot. It actually, I got sucked into playing that. I am level, like the idea of grinding for a level. It actually feels more like it feels more like how they've structured the rewards and stuff like that. Actually feels a lot more like crap, I just lost it. What's the horde mode in Splatoon?
Salmon Run.
Yeah, it's Salmon Run, how you kind of grind for a specific level to get rewards and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That feels that feels really good. That is a good sort of thing to keep me motivated to keep playing. I hit level 10 on that event. What is it? The Party Crash?
Yep.
I got sucked into this game more than I have in a long time. So
Nice.
I
Yeah,
really like that event.
You are absolutely right. I am remiss that Party Crash is active currently right now. And if you are interested and maybe you haven't picked up ARMS and you know what's going on, you actually go to our YouTube channel. We do have a Let's Play of the Party Crash and check that out. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, Zach. I've actually really enjoyed it.
And I like like for me, those badges they felt a little bit weird at first, but then they said, oh yeah, but if you hit level 5, then you get a Springman badge. And if you hit level 10, you get a Ribbon Girl badge. And I'm like, oh, I'll hit level 10 then. Sweet.
Sold.
Let's keep going. Right.
Yeah.
And so that for me was like, these are time limited badges that you're only going to be able to get for a short while. At least like that. Those are good in-game rewards that are motivating to help me come back to this game. That's exactly what I needed. And it's a very specific format of like, because for me in ARMS, part of the reason why I was having such a hard time with it was because I would come in to play it and I was like, okay, but it's I don't know, like this, like the main online versus mode sometimes didn't feel great. Like it didn't have a lot of reward right away. Whereas this one, like it feels like every 15 minutes they throw some crazy mode in, like, okay, now everybody has full rush mode all the time. And you're like, oh, okay, like that's really fun, right? So yeah, I really am liking this. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Excellent. And the final thing we're going to talk about is games. Again, hot takes here, Marty, is you got a gift this week, did you not? Or a package delivered to Nintendo Dad's HQ.
And it's fantastic. I love opening packages. So, like especially when they contain video games. And totally unexpected, Nighthawk Interactive and Inti Create sent us a physical copy of the new Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack, which is the 2 3DS games combined into one with some performance upgrades and all the DLC included, which is just bonkers. If you think about it, these are already fantastic games. What I want to do is, instead of eating up more time here on the show, I want to point people over to our YouTube channel. I did an unboxing of the game, and I also did about a 20 to 25 minute Let's Play / review on the game today. And so go over there and check that video out, because if you already have Gunvolt on the 3DS, that will be a much better tell as to whether or not you need to buy this game again. But if you don't have these games already, this is a fantastic package for you to pick up. These are the closest thing you're going to get to a good Mega Man game, unless Capcom actually makes a good Mega Man game.
That's a pretty big if.
Yeah, that is a huge if.
It is a pretty big if. And that's throwing Mighty Number 9 out there, and I'd love to just throw that under the bus and run over it multiple times. But anyway, you can pick this up right now for $39.99. And I would, one
is
thing.
Is it on the Switch? Is it on there yet? It is?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep. It's out. It came out. Okay. It came out yesterday, or actually
Tuesday,
the 21st. Tuesday.
I'm not seeing it on. Is it on the eShop though? Like I'm not seeing it on the. Where is it on the eShop?
I believe it's coming out tomorrow on the eShop. The physical copy is out. You know what? It may not be coming out on there.
I'm not seeing it. I could be totally blind here, but maybe it's just not on here list. It's not listed yet.
Well,
it's not on this current. It's not on the coming soon on the website. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is. I see. I found Azure Striker. We're talking Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. But it just says buy. Oh yeah, buy digital $39.99. Buy physical.
Yeah, I scroll down and it says release date August 31st. I'm like, what?
Oh, so maybe this is a physical copy that came out.
This got delayed, actually. This has not been in the eShop until now.
So this is saying that it was released on August 31st on the eShop,
which is crazy.
I don't.
Somebody out there, our Nintendo Dad ninjas, help us out.
Right. So I checked Amazon, and it's for the physical. It's $40. Saying it will be in stock on Saturday the 25th. That's a weird date, but
right. Which means they sold through a first run. They may not have gotten too many, but right there next to it, it also says November 21st. But here's the deal, like guys, this is an amazing package. Gunvolt games play a lot like Mega Man. You're going and taking down bosses in kind of a choose your own path stage, and they, instead of giving you like their actual powers. You get bullet upgrades for Gunvolt's gun that do different things and kind of change the game that way. And so I definitely recommend this. Long and short of it, it's a fantastic play. It feels good as you play it. Like it plays like a good, solid, quick action game. And the what you need to be aware of too, I mean, just think it's like usually, and I say this because in the case of Mighty Number 9, it's not applicable, but usually Inti Creates makes good games. And this is no exception. So if you're looking for that like solid platform run and gun action thing, this game is right up your alley. But go over to YouTube and check out the 2 videos we made on it. Actually, the review Let's Play video will be up later on today because we've now crossed over into November 23rd. It's going to go live Thanksgiving morning at some point, I think around 9 a.m.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. So lots of stuff playing there. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. And actually, just while we're on that topic, actually, if you guys have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I would definitely highly recommend that you do that. So we are putting up almost 1 to 2 videos almost daily. In the last week, we've had a Let's Play of Sonic. We've had Morphit's an eShop Spotlight. We talked about Doom's multiplayer. We had Marty reviewed Super Mario Level Up by the board game from USopoly. We did a Let's Play of Ben 10. We've got unboxings. We have got another review coming up. I've got another Let's Play of Stick It to the Man. Party Crash Let's Play. More reviews coming up. So guys, if you have not, head over to youtube.com/Nintendo Dads or just search Nintendo Dads. Hit subscribe. We have tons of content coming out. And we'd love for you to participate. Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to say too, like I think that like the YouTube algorithm is a fickle mistress, and so feel free. Like if that is something that you're interested in, I know that a lot of times the YouTube algorithm is difficult to like it's hard to get through onto like that front page of YouTube or whatever. So if that is something that you are interested in, make sure that you also do the notification bell thing next to the subscribe. That way you'll actually get notified when we post a video or when we go live or whatever. Because yeah, that is the most effective way for you guys to actually get the videos. Because even for myself, who like I have a separate YouTube channel that I watch my own videos through and whatever. And even for me, like none of it shows up in my own feed. Like it's really difficult to know. So even though we have like 1,200 subscribers on YouTube, we're seeing significantly lower than that as far as actual views there.
Well, I think YouTube's had a bug for several weeks where it's not pushing out notifications even though they should, because there was a lot of channels that I have not gotten emails on where that I used to. Mm-hmm. So for those who, if you've noticed it too, if you already have subscribed and hit the bell, is what I've unbelled, unsubscribed, resubscribed, and then rebelled. And then I've started getting the emails again.
Oh, jeez.
It's
thanks, YouTube.
So
anyway,
yeah,
that's
it
just
sounds
something...
like a pain. But it really, it's click, 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 done. It's
yeah, and I think the other part of it too is that we are getting a as we mentioned before on the show, and you're hearing here, we're getting a lot of access. Developers are giving us games. We're purchasing games to play for the show. We're getting a lot of access to content. And we'd love to cover it all in the podcast, but that would then mean this is longer than 2 hours. It's 3 or 4 to give it depth and Let's Play. So we're putting a lot more content on the YouTube space for you to be able to access it there, and kind of allow us more conversation within the podcast as well. So if you want more Nintendo Dads content, getting more information about the games that we're playing, and highlight it, then I would definitely recommend that you head over to our YouTube space.
Cool.
All right. So what is going on? Anything else that we need to know about here, Zacchaeus, before we head out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think as far as like, do we have any emails or anything? Do we have emails?
We don't have any emails, but we have one thing that I need to make sure that everyone's aware of, that this Saturday I will be up in Dublin, Ireland at the GXI, and Nintendo UK will be there. So if you are attending Gamer Expo Ireland GXI, I will be there, as well as our good friend from the show, Barry Dunn from Nintendo Impact Gaming will be there as well. So if you are in the Dublin area and are at GXI, feel free to drop us a DM and hit me up. And could be there playing games with Nintendo and hanging out and checking out what devs are doing, and bring my Switch. So if you want to bring some games, we'll play some local multiplayers or whatever. Barry and I think might be even setting up a booth and playing some indie games together. So guys, check that out as well. Big thanks to our friends over at GXI who provide us press access as well.
Yeah, and I would just say Retro Rewind coming up. We are going to be posting the poll of the new Splatfest style Retro Rewind. So stay tuned for that. That episode should be coming out fairly shortly as well. So keep your eyes peeled, which is gross, but anyway. Yeah, that's all I think we have here. Do you want me to play the music, Justin?
You know what? You're really good at this like outro thing. You have a rhythm to it. Why don't you do it? I like having you back sometimes.
I could. You know what? I would be more than happy to do that. So thank you everybody for listening to the Nintendo Dads podcast. Of course, we do this show every Wednesday night, and thank you to all of you who show up live. If you want to follow us on all of the social medias, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Nintendo Dads. If you want to email us, you can do so nintendodads@gmail.com. If you want to, I don't have this in front of me, so I'm doing it off memory. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 929-25-NDADS, 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for our music throughout the show, as well as to both Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard from Megadads for their amazing artwork and supporting us with their talented talents. Finally, if you want to change the world, go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And if you want to subscribe, you can do so at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course, VGTribune.com. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and for Marty, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?
There we go.
Nice.
I didn't record any of that, by the way, so hopefully the YouTube one